During the Yugoslav wars, the hotels in the Kupari Bay, which you're seeing here, were shelled relentlessly from sea and by land. After that, they were looted, and I saw various evidence of gunfights happening within and between hotels. So I wanted to do a little bit of a documentation on these hotels themselves, as several of them are scheduled for demolition and will probably be demolished shortly. I just wanted to sort of preserve that memory and just go through each one of these hotels and their history one by one. Sadly, there's not very much history on it, or there's a lot of history on the amalgamation of hotels, but it's really hard to find information on the individual hotels. But I'm going to do what I can here, and we're going to start with this one, which is the Pelegrin Hotel. Hotel Pelegrin was designed by the young Sarajevo-based architect David Finci in 1963. The hotel's architecture drew considerable acclaim in the 1960s, netting David several awards, but the design holds some fascination for contemporary critics as well. In the Croatian architectural magazine Oris, contributor Darko Latin noted that Finci's style demonstrated a certain detachment from the tradition of modernism. Hotel Pelegrin is especially outstanding, he added. What you're seeing here are two different lobbies. One, the top level has like little planters and stuff like that to add some vegetation, and then this one has a staircase that leads directly to the beach. Then these lead to the large open area in the center, sort of an atrium or whatever, and it also has access to the staircases which go up, and that leads to the 4 to 5 floors of rooms. I believe this area was either some sort of shower so you could rinse all the salt water off yourself before you went back up to your room, or possibly some sort of kitchen. I saw something that looked more like a kitchen on the lower levels, but this would kind of make sense that it would be a place to rinse off, as the staircase led directly from the beach up into here. The 419-bed hotel was originally part of the Kupari Holiday Resort for the military elite of the JNA, which is the Yugoslav National Army. But it began welcoming foreign tourists, mainly from Northern Europe, in the early 1980s. So now taking this staircase, this takes you up to the floors that actually have the rooms. The ground level has no rooms, and then all the subsequent floors are 100% rooms, and on the top floor there was access to the roof. One odd thing that I've noticed about all of the buildings in the Croatia, all the Yugoslav-made buildings, is this weird thatching in the ceilings. Almost, I don't know if it's bamboo or what it is, but it seems like an odd building material for such a premium location. It's hard to hear what I'm saying. My GoPro Hero 6 doesn't have very good audio, but what I'm pointing to is one of the staircases is completely blocked off by debris. It seemed odd. I don't know if that was something during the siege of Dubrovnik where people were, because that area faces out towards the bay. I don't know if it was a way that they were, launching some sort of attack and preventing themselves from being snuck up on from behind, or if it was something that people did later. One thing I found odd about the room layouts was the rooms that weren't facing the beach, like this one, seemed to be a little bit larger than the rooms facing the water. I don't know why that is. Maybe it was a way to sort of compromise them for the lack of views, but On all floors, it seemed exactly the same. The rooms not facing the water were a lot larger. The rooms facing the water were actually quite small. But why would you need a big room when you're staying in a place like this? Go out, enjoy yourself. This is kind of what I'm talking about. You can see that the room is rather small, just pretty much enough room for a bed and to store your luggage, but this view is awesome. It's pretty inspiring to just run downstairs and go hang out at the beach, go hit all the really cool restaurants nearby. Why not? Room small, view is good. So I don't know if this massive debris was during the siege of Dubrovnik or after the siege of Dubrovnik to kind of keep people from getting snuck up on. There will be a hint to what might actually be the case a little bit later. As you can see, the top floor does have quite nice mountain views. Further down this road, there are two other abandoned villas. One is Joseph Tito's, the presidential villa. It's also abandoned, but just past what you can see, there is a military checkpoint, as all of that is a military base. They conduct military exercises on there, probably as a way to keep this bay secure so they don't get shelled from Navy ships again. But sadly, you cannot go see those buildings. So now that we're above the debris field, I walk into this room and somebody has set up a little table. There's a lot of tagging. So it's either some kids made this their own private little hangout with a super cool view and threw all that debris to kind of keep people from coming up, or you'll also see the side of this building is completely hit with bullets and shells. There's big craters coming out of this area. So it could be either. It could be that it was kids that are trying to protect their little hangout, or people during the siege of Dubrovnik that were trying to keep themselves from being snuck up upon. During the siege of Dubrovnik in 1991, the Yugoslav National Army shelled the Hotel Pelegrin repeatedly, as well as the other hotels in the Bay of Kupari. The damage is still very visible today. After the attack, the hotel was used as a temporary shelter for servicemen in the Croatian army, which is separate from the Yugoslav National Army. During the siege of Dubrovnik, it was the Croatian army versus the Yugoslav National Army, as Croatia was looking to obtain its independence. I have no idea what hit the building right here, but if you were in that room, you're probably dead. Hotel Pelegrin, along with Hotel Kupari, Hotel Grand, and Hotel Gorsina 1 and 2, are all part of the state's Kupari Srebreno project. an estimated €200 million package investment in, quote, high-end tourism development. As Zelka Karak, senior advisor to the Agency for Investments and Competitiveness, told The Balkanist, quote, "It is a real estate project that includes a combination of land sale and right to build," unquote. And while the land is a premium, as it is located just 7 kilometers from Dubrovnik's Old Town, there has been very little interest over the years. This room looks a bit different. I wonder where that ladder goes. According to a report by the Balkan Investigative Reporting Network, Croatia's State Property Ministry affirmed that a, quote, first-class hotel chain would be involved with the redevelopment of Kupari. Meanwhile, the Vienna-based construction and real estate company Avenue Group won a deal to develop the resort in 2015. They declined to answer the Balkan Investigative Reporting Network's inquiries over fears of breaking confidentiality with agreements and potential partners about whether or not these buildings were going to be rehabilitated or demolished and something else built in its place. Now comes the best views this entire building has to offer. This bay looks really peaceful. Now imagine a bunch of Yugoslav National Army ships in this bay shelling the fuck out of these hotels.
On the roof.
Along with the hotels in the Kupari Bay, there were also 2 large private villas that were frequented by Yugoslav President Josip Tito and his wife Jovanka. These are now located on a military base and sadly are inaccessible. You might be able to get it if you wanted to swim there at night, but it probably wouldn't be the best idea because if you get caught, I'm not sure what would happen to you, being that it's on a closed military base. And given the fact that this whole bay was flooded with ships by Yugoslav National Army ships, and those ships ended up shelling all of these hotels, I can imagine that they're quite prepared to stop such endeavors in the future. Walkthrough videos like this I feel are quite important for historically significant buildings such as these hotels, because it was in 2017, I believe, there were plans by that same Austrian Avenue Group to demolish all of the hotels except for the Grand Hotel. Croatian architects were outraged by this decision, and they even wrote to the Croatian culture minister, Nina Obuljan, to protest the demolition of the Pelegrin Hotel, on the basis that it represents a valuable example of modernist architecture. Their efforts, however, were to no avail, with the ministry responding that these architects should have spoken out earlier and made more of an effort to protect these architectural landscapes or architectural monuments. In architectural terms, however, the most striking hotel, according to architects, not quite me, is Hotel Pelegrin. It was built later than all of the other hotels, and it is on the Dubrovnik side of the bay. It is contained within a brutalist ziggurat, sort of an inverted ziggurat, if you will. A series of ramps provided vehicular access to the various levels of the hotel, and a grand staircase led directly from the lounge to the beach. Its uncompromising style attracted considerable attention and several awards when it was unveiled. Let's take this staircase down to the beach. Now, that's all I have for you guys on this one. I hope you really enjoyed it. I had a really fun time making this video. This is one of the coolest places you could go to. If you were wanting to go to this place, if you fly into Dubrovnik, you pass Kupari on the way from the airport to Dubrovnik. You can't miss it. It's worth a stop. It's right off the road, maybe a 3-minute walk from the road itself. Go see it while it's still standing. And if it's not standing when you're watching this, enjoy the walkthrough. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.